psychology. Mind. We've also mentioned the chemical and neurotransmitter in the human body, adrenaline, that is responsible for your flight or fight abilities. This video will describe the human eye and how it relates to the hippocampus and how it relates to the central nervous system, which is a part of the human mind as it relates to the human anatomy. So let's begin to talk about the eye. The eye contains sclera, and sclera is the outer layer, the very outer layer of your eye. And then you have the cornea. The cornea, it sits right beneath the outer layer of your eye. And then you have the iris, which is the pink part of your eye. And then you have the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is the film that sits around the eyeball. And then you have the lens. And obviously we know what the lens are. Your lens are the colors that you want and you don't have. So maybe you have blue eyes and you want hazel eyes, and maybe you have brown eyes and you want green eyes. And this is what we call the lens of your eyes. And then you have the humor aquasis. And the humor aquasis is the tissue that lay beneath the actual lens of the eye. And then you have the humor vitreous. And the humor vitreous lays deep within the eyeball and is near the nerve of the eye. And remember, the eye is connected by the hippocampus, which is a part of the mind that lies within the brain. And the hippocampus is connected by this huge nerve cord that goes to the brainstem, which connects the central nervous system. So, all medical doctors and psychiatrists, which medical doctors study the brain and the body, and psychiatrists study the mind and the psyche, and they both believe that the eye is controlled by the human psyche, which is controlled by the central nervous system. So people, we do want you to remember that, and that will be a learning objective. So, we do understand about the eye and how the human eye works and where it is located. So here are the objectives for psychology. You will understand what quantum physics and quantum theory is about and the definition. You will understand the neurotransmitter adrenaline and what adrenaline is capable of doing, and where adrenaline comes from, and what triggers adrenaline. You will also identify the nervous system and be able to understand what the purpose of the nervous system is, and explained various areas of how energy can leave the human body. In addition, you will be able to name two ways of therapeutic coping techniques, as well as explaining the three body parts that make up the mind and the human psychology as it relates to the human anatomy. So these things will be required, and we will expect these things on the final examination to show competency and understanding of the AFINICU psychology. In addition, as we entered the course, we mentioned the actual definition between the mind and the body. And you will need to know what the mind is as it relates to physiology in the body. And you will have an understanding of what the brain is and the mind, as well as energy and quantum physics. And you will be able to identify stage fright theory. These are the objectives of AFINICU psychology.
Bro, okay, no, yeah, I said nigga. Yeah, you're right, those are
AFINICU psychology again goes over the objectives that are required, and these objectives will be posted for 2 weeks so that all participants are able to understand the requested and requirement obligations of these learning objectives. AFINICU psychology. At a baseline where you can enjoy your life. So all these things the objectives of what make up psychology. And those objectives are making sure that the human mind is healthy. And that the mind is a part of the central nervous system, which is a part of the human body hears what the human mind is saying. So we went over that the Behavior Analysis Certifying Board certifies psychiatrists and psychologists to provide mental health service. So if you are in the field of psychology and you are providing health, then you are aware that the Behavioral Analysis Certifying Board certifies, again, nationally certifies psychologists and psychiatrists here in the United States. And again, psychologists are able to give counseling and support by providing mental health therapy. And psychiatrists are able to do the same in addition to prescribing mental health drugs. There are a list of mental health drugs, and these drugs primarily focuses on the central nervous system.